everybody, welcome to Jeff Bowles Central. My name is Jeff Bowles and I'm bringing you a special preview of my next book, God's Body. It's a horror fantasy of the apocalypse, just a little bit more bodily. And every chapter is lovingly illustrated by illustrators of the Future Contest winner Pat R. Steiner. Look at some of these beautiful pieces of art. I'll pause here while you look at them. And we're done. Okay. It's coming soon, everybody. Watch for it. It's going to be on Amazon.com. God's Body. God is dead. Really.
Chapter 1. The toe was an ungodly mountain of flesh, as massive as it was inexplicable. It clung to the earth like a bulbous pink tumor, enormous, all-encompassing, the height of a skyscraper, the breadth of Niagara Falls. Rainwater washed through its thick patchwork of crevices and cracks. Long vertical rivers lapped at Skin Cell Canyon walls. There were flash creeks and tidal waves. The toenail itself was the hanging shelf of the world. Then Harold looked higher and saw the rest. Lord God Almighty. In the murky green haze of a sudden and tempestuous thunderstorm, the creature looked like God, with the classic God robe and the classic God beard and the stern fatherly expression one would expect God to wear. This was God. It was. Harold knew it was, even if reason and relative plausibility eluded him. If God was 5 miles tall, he would not have been surprised. Harold backed into the still open door of his truck. He left it idling there in the middle of the road, thumping around on the asphalt each time the behemoth shifted its weight. Rain pelted Harold. Hailstones dropped hard enough to bruise. He didn't care, couldn't care. God rose, slow, rumbling, shifting and displacing atmosphere. He took a pause, a moment of monolithic stillness, then his colossal foot lifted from the earth. The step was like a phase of the moon. It passed high over Harold, blotted the sky, parted the storm with a great whoosh. Nevada mud showered Route 160 and fell in clumps and condo-sized splatters. The foot thundered, traversed, traveled. It landed again with a deep, resounding quake. Not since the age of 10, when his Sunday school teacher had explained to him the rapture, had Harold felt such sheer religious terror. He dropped to his knees. Numbness and mortal shame overcame him. It so happened he'd never absorbed the much exalted virtues of Sunday school. Consciously oblivious in both the moral and spiritual sense, avid semi-regular pot user, caught fucking with a girl in the clergy office, and all these years later he'd gone the extra mile and had knocked up a woman he had no business being with. Patty, old friend from high school, on the regular now, Harold's new fiancée. Seeing him was like watching the planets align, like the sinuous, deliberate progression of the stars through the sky. Muscles shifted, the enormous robes swayed, skin, tendons, and veins, will, movement, spirit. The Lord is a warrior, Jehovah is his name. Off in the east, from the wind and churning rain, a second monster emerged. It filled Harold's vision like a galaxy-destroying supervillain from some comic book. Its skin was a deep, ruddy red, knotted and tangled black hair running swiftly down the spiraling lower regions of its legs to 2 enormous cloven hooves. God's hands disappeared into the storm. Lightning flashed. The rain swirled and churned. An enormous red chin appeared. It hovered there, lorded over the world. Lips came with it, sneering, cracked, diseased black lips. A forked tongue slithered between them. God's knee connected. The red monster, Satan. The monster was Satan. Satan's head rocked up into the haze. Harold couldn't see it after that. He felt a terrible impact, then a deep rumbling growl that shook his truck and rattled his brain. One behemoth rushed the other. They were airborne a terrifying few moments, then they crashed into Charleston Peak. The earth shook. Ejected loads of mountain shrapnel careened through the sky. One climbed atop the other. It brought down million-ton fists like wrecking balls. Down, down, again and again. Harold jumped into the truck and slammed the door. The deluge splattered Route 160. It smashed his windshield. He reached for his phone to call Patty. She picked up after one ring. "Oh my God, Harry, what's happening?" she said. "Are you all right? Are you seeing this?" "I think I'd like to split up with you," said Harold. "What?" "I'm pretty sure I'm going to die and I'd rather be single. Is that okay?" "Oh my God," she said. "Are you seeing this? The red one is like, oh my God, are you seeing this?" A spiraling mud missile flattened the front end of his truck. Harold's back tires lifted 4 feet in the air and then crashed down heavily. "Did you just say you want to split up?" said Patty. "Yes, I did. I'm not ready to be a dad. Plus, I don't think we're any good together." "Are you serious? Are you serious right now? You fucking suck, Harold Math." "Oh, shit! Shit! He's about to snap the devil's..." Crack! Patty's voice cut out. A massive explosion erupted somewhere off in the west. Patty cut back in. "Harold, are you..." She cut out. "Patty?" said Harold. "Patty!" A towering landmass of flesh landed on the road. It kicked up a giant tidal wave of earth and mud. The truck lifted. It mounted and rode the wave, slid over it, down it 50 yards, 100, and then it crashed onto its side. Harold's head slammed against the window. Pain buffeted his shoulder as the steering column crumpled into him. It seemed to him the deluge would never end. The rain would never cease. Worse yet, there would be fire. Righteous cleansing fire that would rain 1,000,000 years. Forever, forever, until there was nothing left. And the heavens would cry judgment. And the earth would be a scorched, shapeless void spinning in the... The storm ended. The mud stopped falling. The rain became a drizzle and the thunder died on the breeze. Harold had shut his eyes. He hadn't realized. He balled his hands into trembling fists. His knuckles had gone white and his fingers ached to spread. He touched his head, bleeding. His left side felt like someone had pummeled it with a tire iron. Harold hauled himself out of his seat and crawled for the door, scraping and clawing, gasping from the pain. He threw his weight against the door. Nothing. He threw himself again. Mud flowed over him, washed into his mouth. This was not the Nevada he knew. Nevada was desert and hills. This was mud, more mud, footprints like rock quarries, thick roomy air like swampland, eerie silence, uncanny calm. The landmass of flesh stretched east and west and filled his sight and all his senses. Skin cell ridge patterns spun circuitously all along its face, spinning, diverging, joining. It was a fingerprint. Harold understood this. He lay at the tip of a finger, the blueprint and signature of individuality, a galaxy of divinely constructed flesh, touching God, touching Harold, touching God. The world grew darker, deeper. He mumbled something vaguely obscene about Thanksgiving, and then his head hit muck and he passed out cold.